Georgie and Mandy's first marriage season 2 bringing Sheldon back might seem, on the surface, like a nostalgic treat for longtime fans, but the return actually highlights a much harsher reality for the show's characters, especially Georgie. Instead of feeling triumphant or comforting, Sheldon's presence quietly underlines how far apart these siblings' lives have drifted and how unequal their paths have become. The contrast isn't played for jokes this time. It's played for truth. Sheldon's return immediately reminds viewers of something the series often tries to soften. Sheldon's life trajectory was always protected. From childhood, he had adults bending systems around him, creating space for his brilliance to flourish. Even when things were difficult, there was always a clear sense of direction.
School, college,
Academia, a future built on intellect. That structure followed him into adulthood, and Season 2 makes it clear that Sheldon is still moving forward on a defined path. Georgie, on the other hand, is not. Seeing Sheldon again forces Georgie and the audience to confront how different their realities are. Georgie isn't failing, but he's stuck in a loop of responsibility without recognition. He's married young, running a struggling business, trying to provide, and constantly putting out fires. There's no applause for that. No clear finish line. Just pressure that never really lets up. Sheldon's return unintentionally shines a spotlight on that imbalance. What makes this harsh is that Georgie didn't choose a worse life. He chose a heavier one. His responsibilities came early and all at once. Marriage, parenthood, financial survival. While Sheldon's challenges are intellectual and emotional, Georgie's are practical and relentless. Season 2 uses Sheldon's appearance to quietly ask a painful question. What happens to the sibling who grows up too fast? The show doesn't frame Sheldon as arrogant or dismissive, but his presence still carries weight. He represents what Georgie never had access to: time. Time to fail safely. Time to explore. Time to be supported without being expected to support others. Sheldon's life continues to be about potential, while Georgie's is about endurance. This is where the reality hits hardest. Georgie's success isn't visible in the same way Sheldon's is. Running a tire store, keeping a family afloat, and showing up every day doesn't come with awards or recognition. It comes with exhaustion. And when Sheldon returns, even briefly, it becomes clear how invisible Georgie's sacrifices have been, not just to others, but sometimes to himself. Season 2 also uses Sheldon's return to underline how much Georgie has changed emotionally. He's more guarded, more tired, less reactive. Sheldon, for all his growth, still exists in a world where people make allowances for him. Georgie exists in a world where mistakes cost real money and real stability. That difference creates a quiet tension that the show doesn't need to spell out. There's also a deeper layer here about family roles. Georgie was always the one expected to be fine. Not the genius. Not the problem child. Just the one who would figure it out. Sheldon's return reinforces that expectation. No one worries about whether Georgie can handle things. They assume he will because he always has. And that assumption is its own kind of burden. What makes this moment effective is that the show doesn't turn it into resentment. Georgie doesn't lash out. He doesn't blame Sheldon. Instead, the weight sits silently between them. That restraint makes the reality feel more honest. Sometimes inequality within families isn't explosive. It's quiet, normalized, and deeply internalized. Sheldon's return also reminds viewers that not all growth looks the same. Sheldon grows upward, toward achievement and recognition. Georgie grows outward, toward responsibility and resilience. One path is celebrated. The other is taken for granted. Season 2 finally allows that contrast to be seen, without forcing a punchline. Mandy's presence in these moments adds another layer. She sees Georgie's struggle more clearly than anyone, yet even she can't fully ease it. Sheldon represents a life Georgie will never get back, not because he failed, but because he chose differently. That realization doesn't come with regret so much as quiet acceptance, and that's what makes it hurt. The harsh reality highlighted by Sheldon's return is that adulthood doesn't reward everyone equally, even when effort is equal or greater. Georgie works harder than almost anyone, but his progress is measured in survival, not advancement. Sheldon's progress is measured in milestones and accomplishments. The show isn't saying one life is better than the other, but it is saying one is easier to admire. Season 2 uses Sheldon not as a guest star, but as a mirror. He reflects back everything Georgie doesn't have time to think about anymore. Dreams deferred, youth shortened, choices locked in early. And yet, there's no bitterness in that reflection, just realism. That realism is what makes Sheldon's return so impactful. It strips away the comforting idea that everyone ends up where they're supposed to be. Sometimes, people end up where they're needed instead. Georgie needed to grow up fast. Sheldon needed room to grow at all. Both things can be true, and both come with costs. In the end, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage season 2 uses Sheldon's return to say something quietly devastating. Being responsible isn't the same as being rewarded. Georgie's life may never look impressive from the outside, but it's built on sacrifice, consistency, and love. Things that don't shine, but endure. And that's the harsh reality the show finally allows itself to acknowledge.